Well, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to round 8 of the Queensland GPS First 15 Rugby competition. That's right, the penultimate round of the 2017 comp, and today we're going to see the number 1 attacking team in the competition in the Southport School take on the number 1 defensive team. My name is Nick Darvanese. Joining me is Marty Lippiett.
Thank you very much, Nick. Very glad to be here.
Well, today Nudgee and Southport will take each other on for the 97th time in their school history as we see the Southport School second 15 just wrapping up a 43-14 win here on main field. Haven't got a lot of time, Marty, so why don't we jump straight into last round's results?
Absolutely, mate. We see there, obviously, no surprise last week. Nudgee doing so very, very well, winning 47-14. Few too many cards for my liking, Nick, so they're definitely going to have to tighten that one up coming into today's match. BBC just getting over the top of State High, 27-21. Toowoomba Grammar there, they went down 32-34 against Ipswich. And I think one of the upsets of the week, Grammar getting up 15-14 over Terrace.
A wonderful upset there at the end. Old Grammar boy myself, very happy with that. We'll move on to the table and see how those results affected round 8. So sitting alone atop the table, number 1, Nudgee College, their undefeated record under fire today from the Southport School, sitting in number 2.
Well, the big thing that I look at this, Nick, is that let's have a look at both scenarios here. If Nudgee win this week, there are going to be 4 points between them and second. And if Southport get the win this week, it's going to be tied up. So really, it's going to come down to our round 9 fixtures, and that's really going to be an interesting tale. Obviously, the Southport School, the point difference, 115 on paper. You know, when we look at that statistic, they should be sitting at first. So I think we're going to be in for quite a battle today. And both teams, they're going to really have to play to their strengths and really play to the other team's weaknesses as well.
Of course, looking through the mid-table now, Brisbane Boys College, Gregory Terrace, Brisbane State High School, all sort of in position to really push going into round 8 and round 9. And rounding out the bottom of the ladder, Toowoomba Grammar School, Anglican Church Grammar School, Ipswich Grammar School, and Brisbane Grammar School. Gee, a bit of a mouthful there. I think we'll go into our team list next. And I'll take home team, Marty. So in the front row, Egan Siggs, Tyrell Kapoor and Zane Nongor make up an enormous front row, weighing in at 354 kilograms. They weigh a lot more than the Wallabies at 347 and the All Blacks at 338. In the second row, 2 Toms, Tom Taylor and Tom Van der Scaife. In the back row, Hugh McNamee, Lachlan Vine and Reno Gerard. In the backs and the halves, Spencer Jeans and Campbell Paratar. And the wings, Dan Burns and Cohen Dovey. At fullback, Max Dowd, and rounding out the team, the star centres Noel Lolosio and Ronan Carpi, coached by, of course, Mike Wallace.
Thank you very much, Nick. I'll take it away. The visiting side, Nudgee College. Let's have a look at the front row. We've got Harry Vella in hooker, Brendan Bell. Then on the other side is Francis Siausi. In the second row, it's Kale Manu and Darcy Shostakovsky. On the flanks, we've got Ethan Bullimore and Hayden Mosley. At number 8, it is also Bailey Tautau at halfback. The linchpin between both those mobs, it's going to be Phoenix Hunt, who is also our captain today. In at number 10, 5'8", is Rashan Pasitoa. On the wings, Tom Blackmore and Ryan Shepherd. In the centres, Joe Small and Josh Fluke. And at fullback, it is Jungler Bennett.
And we mentioned a little bit earlier, Marty, discipline a real issue for Nudgee College over the season. We've got them down for 7 yellow cards and a red card through the 2017 season, and that is a crazy number.
Yeah, that's a lot, Nick, and I think with the stakes as high as they are today, they can't afford to be bringing that to the table this afternoon here at Southport. And the other thing that's really they're going to have to be careful of, it's those lineouts. I think last week, if Churchy had brought their game back to playing well off their set piece off the scrum and the lineouts, we would have seen a very different game. But that impressive Nudgee defence really shut them down. That's why we saw about 10 line breaks and a whole plethora of tries coming from it. So we know Nudgee have got a lot of strength in their back line. If they can tighten up the forwards and get the winning ratio for their lineouts back up and maybe cut out a little bit of that silly stuff that we've seen the past few weeks of the season, I reckon we're in for an absolute nail-biter.
Well, silly stuff did send off Nudgee's hooker Tom Ford with a red card last week, of course. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember. Of course, a red card now.
Yeah, I think, mate, it was just I think the thing is, you forget a lot because you haven't been a schoolboy for a fair few years. But when you're playing here, there's a lot of testosterone in the field. I think Nudgee were doing so well that they were kind of forgetting that there's ramifications for these things. But I don't think it's going to make two shakes of difference. The crop of Nudgee boys that are coming through the senior ranks at the moment, they're very talented. They work well together. And the rugby that they showed us last week, even technically with half of the game with only 14 men, it was outstanding.
Yeah, Nudgee, a very young team as well. So really great signs going forward. One of the big matchups today, Marty, especially talking of young players as Nudgee team, the fly half, Rashaan Pasatoa, only 15 years of age, and he'll go up against Campbell Paratai, who's a Queensland 1 fly half. Really two of the youngest and most exceptional talents in the GPS competition. Yeah,
and when we look at this combination between the two teams, I don't think Southport will be coming into today's game not realising that not only in 2016, 15, 14 and 13, Nudgee have come away with the wins. Now, they're going to need to break this curse that they haven't broken since 2012. They need to get up today if they want to have the number 1 position in their sights.
Of course, Nudgee College winning 5 from 6 against Southport in recent years. We'll go have a quick look at the weather. Marty, what stands out to you on that little weather chart there?
Mate, I'm actually going fishing after this down at the Tweed. So when it comes to the weather this afternoon, I can tell you there's a bit of a southeasterly swell coming through right now. We are near the water, and we've got winds of about 10 knots, 10 to 15 knots in the old scale, which will equate to about 21 kilometres an hour puffing in from the east. And I guess for the viewers at home, pretty much if you're looking out of the camera right now, it's coming straight at you. So we've got, that wind coming right across the field. So I don't think we're going to see as much of an advantage with and without the wind like we saw last week with Nudgee and Churchy.
No, I don't think so, Marty. One little stat I want to pull up. In the last 5 years, 4 times of those 5, the best fly half of the class has gone on to win the premiership. And I think today will be a real sort of a real litmus test for the quality of these two young tens. Looking across the team, I think not just the fly half from the Southport school, their playmaking access in the 10, 12 and 15 jerseys with Paratai, Lolosio and Max Dowd. That really gives Southport a great attacking launch pad to really attack wide, which is an area that has not been a strength of Nudgee's, that wide defence.
Well, that was it. The wide defence... you could say, look at the All Blacks the other night. I think they've been so good at attacking for so long that when they finally came up against a good defence, it really rattled the cage a bit. So Southport, we've seen them in the earlier games today, in the seconds and the 16 Hays. They've been good tacklers. So if Southport can come out and really silence that Nudgee backline, they're going to be creating all kinds of headaches for the visiting team.
Of course, a few changes to this Nudgee team from last week. We mentioned earlier the hooker Tom Ford will be leaving the team. Centre Josh Fluke comes back into the team. He'll replace Tom Blackmore, the outside centre. And moving on to the left wing, and number 11 jersey, a young fella called Jared Sablu, who played for Maroons under-16s earlier this year. As the Southport school now marching their way onto the field, led by their fullback Max Dowd. Nudgee College already waiting for them. And gee, this will be the biggest test of these young men's footy careers.
Well, it's a big one, Nick, and I think it's very fortunate that we get to see such a top-of-the-table clash this late in the season. As you'll probably agree, there have been many a season of recent times where our number 1 and 2 finishing sides, they face each other very early. And I think that's a bit of a letdown, because then they go and they grow as the season goes, and they're kind of, it's Chinese whispers about, what are they doing? And I think it's really good to see these two top teams actually dueling it out here. And it looks like Nudgee will be kicking off. They're going to be running to the north, and it is going to be absolutely astounding.
Of course, Jarrett Sablu, the left wing, coming into the team. One change from our note sheet we had ourselves is Nudgee College, Rashaan Pasatoa. He'll look to start off his side. And with a big home crowd, not much grass around, its spectators are crowding the Nathan Sharp leadership stand. As we see young Sablu in the number 11 jersey, closest to camera. Pasatoa going high. Fielded by Van der Scaife at the top, met quickly by the Nudgee defence, swarming and bringing down outside the 22-metre line. And we're underway.
That's not the start you want there, Nick.
And a costly little knock on there.
No, it wasn't knocked on. He's managed just to hold on to it.
Gee, fortunate there. An early let off for Southport school. We saw how clinical Nudgee have been in that 22-metre zone all through the season, as Southport able to kick, relieve some pressure.
Oh, what a great atmosphere we've got here this afternoon, Nick. Nudgee have completely dominated the eastern side of the venue, and here in the western side, the Southport boys are chanting away. It's such a great atmosphere.
And what a throw here for Brendan Bell. His first as starter for Nudgee College. Throwing to the back.
It's a good start for Nudgee, Nick.
Now into the middle. Small. Resetting through the middle. Both sides to attack. Nudgee will go right. Passes Toa now. Short for Fluke. He'll find Bennett, who will apply some footwork and is met solidly by Inoa Lolasio.
And there we go, Southport. They're already taking it to them in the forwards, Nick, and they've already come away with a good penalty there.
And that back row, Hugh McNamee, Lachlan Vine making their presence felt early on that left and extreme of the field.
Now, it was good to see that Nudgee, they're 1 from 1 from that first line out, in front of the home crowd here. So they've done pretty well. They're going to need to hold on to that today because Southport, they're going to come out swinging.
Of course, Nudgee struggled to line out in previous weeks. They'll look to work on that in training, there's no doubt, but will they get a big test today?
Well, Nick, if he's going for the posts now, that's it. That's a massive kick on the fly. That's nearly 60 metres because he's on the far side of the field. It's going, that's a very bold move, Nick. I'm going to be interested to see if it pays off.
Campbell Paratai, left boot, one of the absolute best kickers in the competition, maybe the best kicker we've seen in the GPS First 15 since Sam Green in 2012. I think we made that point a few weeks ago against BBC. It's certainly within his range. And that's a scary thought for Nudgee College.
It's a big win, big kick, Nick. He's got a big win coming over the left shoulder across his chest. So he's going to have to be aiming a bit left of that left post to give himself enough leeway to get it over the sticks.
And if we saw Brendan Bell, the hooker with the throw in front of the Nudgee crowd, Parata now has a chance to kick in front of the Nudgee.
That's a good strike, Nick. Just didn't have the line.
Just drifting to the left and maybe overcompensated for that wind. Nudgee will put it down between the posts and come out for a 22-metre restart. And Southport School now, they'll have another great attacking opportunity provided they can win back this set-piece dropout. That's
a really confident play there too from Southport, looking for those points early on. They're not wasting any time here. They're respecting their adversary and they're really trying to find points when and wherever they can.
As Cohen Dobie takes on the Nudgee defence, he'll get brought down just inside the Nudgee 40-metre line. As Dad now to midfield, short ball for Zane Nongor, the biggest prop in GPS rugby history, West certain, 136 kilograms. As Southport now, recycling going wide, Tyrell Corporal now. They've lost ground, Nudgee's defence, a big win there. As Jeans, short ball again for McNamee. Recycling, a little fumble there. Oh, and a drop ball there. Costly.
Zane Nongor, he's a big boy, Nick. But they've really invited the Foxes into the hen house here. Nudgee, this is their first good attacking opportunity of the game so far.
Jordan Way, our match day referee, one of the greatest, or one of the best young refs coming through the Queensland system.
Whew, that was about to be a very, very big call there, Nick.
Yeah, no, I caught myself just in time. I am Nick Darvanese and Martin Lithia joining me from the Southport School, round 8 of the Queensland GPS First 15 rugby competition. 5 minutes played and the score's tied at 0-0, but we'll see how much longer that remains the case. There have been high-scoring fixtures in the past.
And we can see the Southport crowd here, they are getting vocal, but J-Way's out there now. We're trying to navigate through this scrum, Nick. The first one's fallen down. So we're going to be interested to see how these play out with the rest of the game.
We did mention in the pre-game show, Southport holds 61 kilogram advantage in the front row. And we'll see if they can make that impact felt. As they go in, Phoenix Hunt, the Nudgee captain, 18 years old, just 2 weeks ago, feeds the scrum, and it's scrappy and one back by Southport as Dubby down that right wing. Called into the Australian schoolboys squad, and that's a bit wide.
Oh, Cohen Doe, what a great run that was, straight through the defender.
Didn't get to trial for Queensland this year through injury, but has been drafted straight into that Australian schoolboys squad. As Lolasio now for Scaife. Von der Scaife. And pick and drive for Nongo, he's found himself in space. Better hands this time from the big fella.
Great recycling rugby from Southport, Nick. They've just got to keep this up, and they've got Nudgee on the back foot.
And a wide pass there for Lockie Vine. One of the form open side flankers in the GPS this year. And a great head-to-head matchup, Boding with Hayden Mosley from Nudgee College. As McNamee now, inside ball, taken high. It'll go unpunished. Or rather not.
Penalty against Nudgee there, not supporting his body weight. That'll go against number 7, Hayden Mosley. And you know, he's already looked for the kick. Well, I think he's might have learned his lesson here, Nick. Maybe the 50 metres, the 50-metre option isn't there today. And he's going to kick for the line. So we're going to get to see an attacking Southport's line out.
Well, Parata now kicking his side inside the 22. And not a bad little kick with the wind assisting him on that right wing. It's quite tall, this fella, in the hat.
Absolutely.
As Egan Six throwing into the middle, he's overthrown his man, but Southport will retain possession. They'll pick and drive into the 22. Approaching that 5-metre line, and now we'll see that big Southport forward pack.
Oh, that was a good run up the middle there from Carpi, and he's still going.
Great power, size all through this team as Carpi takes his side to the goal line. Attacking left out, dumbing himself, breaking out of one tackle. Luckily, Pastor had a safety net in the shape of Joe Small. As Lolosio now, short for Egan Siggs. Short ball now for Kopua. Sport arrives at 6, has to pick and drive to save possession. Held up there by Vela. Southport getting very close now as Parata takes on the line. Tackled firmly.
Stay last feet.
Southport, they're really attacking hard here, but Nudgee's defence, they're going to try look for the inside option next to the breakdown. They're going to keep going, picking and driving on the menu. Off the back, Jeans, he's looking for his option. He'll find Siggs. Siggs gets close.
Building now a penalty advantage on their side. Southport can chance their arm if they want to, but they'll go short. Zane Nongor driving his way through for the first score in the biggest match of the season. Southport take a 5-0 lead.
And that was really great from Southport there, Nick. They were patient, and we saw them run about 15 phases there coming in from the 22. They kept looking at all the different avenues that they could. Nudgee, credit to them. They put up a great defence, but persistence paid off, and Southport came away with the 5 points.
And Southport showing off their clinicism. Clinicality. Inventing them as I go, as we see again, Zane Nongor now getting his big hands on that ball. And gee, there's no stopping someone that big.
Yeah, Nick, it was a bit hard, and we can see there on the inside of that breakdown, Nudgee, they had a lot of stacked defenders just watching, ruck watching. I think if they want to stop that happening again, they're going to have to make sure they've got good weight of players on both sides of the breakdown, and when you're that close, it's just about trying to get a body underneath the player coming in.
And Parata now, the best kicking boot in the GPS. He'll take 2 points here, no doubt about that whatsoever.
Don't curse him, Nick.
Too good. And to defy the commentator's curse. See, I was just making it difficult for him, Marty. It's too easy.
Well, that's it. We see Southport, they're up now 7 points to 0, Nick. It's a great start. We're going into the 10th minute of the game. Nudgee, they're going to have to try and make something happen here because Southport are keeping them locked up in that end of the field.
Nudgee now with their second restart of the match. They'll go to the left wing or to the right wing of Southport. And a turnover now. Shostakovsky will regather inside the 22.
Big opportunity for Nudgee, Nick.
Costly spills on both restarts for Southport. As Small, wide.
They're finally getting to show that effective backline, Nick. Let's see if they can try and make something happen here.
Pastor going to the right. Sulasiausi. Tackle there by Gerard. But Nudgee still working their way through the metres. And the forwards take this one in.
Oh, this could be close, Nick.
In the tram tracks, working their way closer and closer and tackled into touch.
And that's great defence from Southport. They stayed very patient, they stayed composed, and they managed to turn the ball over, and they're going to have the line out here.
And for a Leicester team, that might have been a scary prospect to have that Nudgee forward pack all of a sudden. Oh, a quick throw in now over the top.
Oh, and this.
Phoenix Hunt thought he was in.
There's only 3 in the line out.
The Nudgee halfback. But inside, penalised for lack of numbers.
Stopped on that one, Nick. It was a good call from Jordan Way. And I think Southport dodged a little bit of a bullet there because I don't think anyone was at home when when Kapua threw that one in.
He was straight through Phoenix Hunt, the Australian schoolboy.
And that's a real shame, Nick. Nudgee, they had a great opportunity there to attack. And, they're getting sent way back.
Phenomenal clearance kick there. A 40-metre net gain for Southport.
We see there, Nick. Great crowd amassed here. I don't think...
As Mosley can't take that one at the top cleanly, but Brandon Bell, he'll clean it up and get caught trapped behind the line by Tom Taylor.
Nudgee committing a lot to these breakdowns, Nick. They're really making sure ball security is paramount.
As Small dummies and goes himself into the defence. Reno Gerard there with the tackle. As Hunt for Bailey Tautau, building up a head of steam, crossing the halfway.
Only just.
Some great ruck work there from Egan Seeks, disrupting Nudgee ball.
Now here we College. Go. Nudgee, they're working hard up the sideline, but the Southport defence is really good. They're holding them, and now look at that. They've managed to find a good penalty here, and they're in a good position to maybe set something up.
Cohen Dovey reckons he had rights to that ball. Jordan Wade disagrees. As Nudgee College now, I don't think they'll take these points. Kicking for the corner will be Rashan Passator. Both fly halves coming over to Queensland's GPS First 15 Rugby competition from Western Australia.
Sean Pastel, I don't think he was too happy with that one. You saw the expression after he kicked it, but they've got a good platform here to attack from. They're about 30 metres out from the line. A successful line out will get the party started.
As Bell, under pressure from the Southport crowd.
They're really making him feel welcome.
Straight to the top of Bailey Tautau.
Very clean.
Short ball for Small, into traffic. And a big hit there, taking down the Nudgee runner. Southport, they're getting excited as Hunt at the back to Pasatoa. It's going inside for Jungler Bennett. Escapes one but can't escape the second as Nudgee College edging closer and closer to the Southport line. Into the middle, Ethan Bollymore. Southport very happy as Phoenix Hunt goes out the back. Pasatoa for Fluke. Wide himself for Ryan Shepherd, the tall man. He's going to go over to score. 13 minutes in and Nudgee College equalise.
Great work there, Nick. Nudgee College, they stayed very vigilant. They kept keeping that ball moving forward. We didn't see Southport take a forward step in their defence at all. They kept going back because Nudgee kept on going forward, and Phoenix Hunt there really orchestrated it from the back, and we can see they worked it through those hands, and we know how strong Nudgee are on the outside, and when Ryan Shepherd, the big tall timber, gets his strut on and gets around the defenders, he was always going to get over.
Putting a little move there on Dan Burns to escape the first defender, and from there, too hard to stop. As we see Pasatoa now, he'll have a chance to kick the equalising conversion.
Now, it's a good thing there for Nudgee College. They haven't been up in the striking zone that close for the entire game. And look what's happened. They've gotten within 10 metres. They got a good line out, and they got over. It's like I said at the beginning of the game. If Nudgee can clean up those line outs, they're going to be able to really control their own destiny in this game.
They're up against it, Marty. Only one line-out target over 190 centimetres. That's an Ethan Bullimore, who doesn't really jump much for Nudgee College, against a Southport pack with 4 over 190 centimetres.
What do they feed the kids out here?
A wide conversion, so Southport will retain a 2-point lead. 15 minutes played.
Now this will be the first Southport restart this afternoon, Nick. We'll be interested to see how they play this one out, if they're going to go for the shallow or they're going to look for depth. Shallow it is.
And a great kick chase there, meeting young Darcy Shostakovsky. Made his debut for the first 15 last week. As Manu. Hunt goes short for Pasatoa, put on the right boot. It was taken back inside. He can't find touch, but he'll find grass. And what is a wonderful kick, trickling its way back to the try line and won't cross. So I think 1 point there to young Pasatoa.
It isn't though, Nick, because we've seen Nudgee receiving the kick quite shallow under a lot of pressure there. I think it was a good kick that went into Southport territory. Now, if they can keep the line-out completion rate up, they've got now an attacking platform 30 metres up. So Nudgee, if they're playing it by the numbers, they're not doing too badly.
Tautau goes up and stolen. Taylor, no, Van der Scaife.
Van der Scaife, he is not a small human.
One of those 190-centimetre options as Lolosio short ball for Vine.
And there we go. That was very, very good refereeing there from Jordan Way. And you could see them trying to sell it to him, but he wasn't going to have a bar of it.
So Nudgee College win the turnover with a Southport error in the breakdown. They'll kick the touch from the halfway. Pretty much middle of middle.
Well, Nick, I think it's fair to say the last 5 minutes, it's really been Nudgee's game. But the first 10 minutes was very Southport, orientated. And this 5 minutes that we've seen so far, Nudgee been doing a lot of good work. They're taking the opportunities as they can find it. Now, bit of a confidence knocker there, seeing Van Escape steal that one just so cleanly and effortlessly just before. So they're going to need to try and keep their completion rate high if they want a chance of going over. And that is one way to do it. The cheeky 1-2 to the man at the front. And
Southport overly ambitious, getting their hands on the ball just a bit too quickly. Didn't give Nudgee the chance to play that one on the deck.
Hey, that's the secret, Nick. If they're too tall to throw over, just to throw underneath them and go to the man at the front. Great little sneaky play there from Nudgee, but I don't think you can do that one every time.
Pasto will kick again. 2 consecutive penalties carrying Nudgee from the halfway inside the 22-metre line. And it's Southport with discipline problems early.
Now Phoenix Hunt will be licking his lips at this one. Oh, and that's a great take up the front by Nudgee. And a bit of a round the corner.
And Bullymore met firmly by Corpua. He scored a try on that same play last week, but Southport waiting. Sulisiasi takes on the defence. Support arrives just in time. And they'll need more of it as Bell with the pick and drive.
Southport are throwing everything they've got at them here. Phoenix pulls it out.
Short ball for Nudgee. Didn't catch a number, but they're going inside the 22-metre line. With plenty of midfield options. Tau putting on some right-step footwork.
Nudgee are really struggling to get past this 22. Southport defence is looking very strong here.
Inside for Joe Small. Phoenix Hunt dummy steps inside.
Gets just bashed for his efforts.
You can't knock the effort there as Nudgee College.
And there we go. That
3 quick penalties.
Discipline. And Nudgee is showing a lot of it, and this could be a prime opportunity for them to get a point up here.
To snatch back the lead in the 19th minute with a penalty goal. We'll see what they take. I think you might be right, Marty.
It's a tackle assist. So if he helps bring him to ground, he must show the same release as a tackler.
Jordan Way providing a bit of a breakdown education for these ambitious Southport back rowers. Pastoa calls for the kick, calls for the tee, he'll take a kick.
Yeah, it's a good little kick he's got in front of him here. I don't think he should miss it, and I think it'll be very, very good if he can get it over the sticks, and he will. There's 3 points for his
simple
efforts.
Conversion. Nudgee College go up 8 points to 7.
So I think the first 10 minutes of this game, Nick, were really Southport's, and I think in the last 8 to 9 minutes, Nudgee have really switched on now. They're playing sensible rugby. They're playing the 1%ers, and they're keeping it tight, and that's why they see themselves ahead.
Southport going for their second restart of the match. Going high and short to the right wing.
Oh.
Backwards off blue.
Nudgee will retain possession. They'll get brought down just outside the 22-metre line.
7.
Egan Six having a crack at that ball there is Bullymore, the king of the line break for Nudgee College in 2017.
Oh, that could be a good pill for opportunity, but here we go. Nudgee looking for the exit.
Bennett putting it on that left boot of his, and he will find Max Dowd, an Australian schoolboy in 2017. He'll jink his way and feed to Parata for Van der Scape now. Burns arrives and puts on a pretty feeble clean-out attempt. It's effective, though. Short ball inside, Egan Siggs.
It's really good play here from Southport, Nick. We're seeing the 3 front rowers, Siggs, Kurpua and Nongor. They're all staying between the 15s.
Great offload. Southport now looking very dangerous. They wank their way inside the 22. Jeans for Parata. Lolosio for Nongor, the big fella, slipping out of one. Trying to offload. He'll lose it behind. Now, is that a knock on? Jordan Way thinks so.
And this is what I was just saying before, Nick. What the 3 front rowers from Southport are doing so well, Siggs, Nongor and Taylor, they're playing between the 15s. We're seeing, the other forwards. They're getting around the whole paddock, but they're keeping those big three in the centres, and they're working really well off the second and first receivers, and they're just being absolutely deadly every time they get a trot on. Just take out the offload flick passes, Nongor, then you'll be having some more tries.
Well, Southport are scoring 42 points per game through the 2017 season, and that shows exactly why, for me, that ability to just explode out and make a big play out of what was a really innocuous pick and drive.
Well, it's a big scrum here for Nudgee College. They're going to have to try and hold out. I wonder if they're going to be kicking immediately for the exit, or if they're going to try to play it out of their half.
And a huge scrum from Southport School. It'll wheel, and they'll win the turnover. A huge scrum for Southport, and they were good enough to take advantage of their position.
And this is dangerous times, Nick. Southport have been looking for a way to get back inside that Nudgee 22, and they've just been gifted it.
Well, I think if you're Southport, you have to pack another scrum and see what more advantage you can exert from that, from the scrummaging set piece.
You know, there's probably a good 2,000 or 3,000 people that are crammed in all around the field. Probably more, Nick. Although it's been a big day of rugby for both schools out here at Southport. Wonderful Gold Coast conditions. It's not a bad one to travel to.
Great shot here, showing off just that blue sky down at Southport. As Egan Siegs, the loose head prop, goes high for Van der Scaife. And a short ball now. Siegs looping around the Tony Woodcock special. And he'll rumble his way towards the line, but he won't get there. Jeans will fetch it and play it inside. Another inside ball for Lolosio. And Paratar getting rid of Bailey Tautau in that breakdown. As Korpua. Again by Nudgee. Superb defense. No way through. Inside ball.
We've seen that tactic before, Nick.
Lolosio going very close. He'll reach out, but he won't get there. And a bouncing pass. Burns like to take it back inside, slip out of one.
He slipped out of two.
He's done very well there. As Southport now getting organised. So the rolling ball, Nudgee under no obligations to roll away, and they don't do so. As Dowd, another short ball, McNamee. Playing nice and tight Southport, but it's so effective. Lolosio for Vine. And Nudgee making every effort to contest these breakdowns. And it's left to right stuff, not much punch. Karpi now.
That's a great tackle there from Shostakovsky.
As Kopor steps into dummy half.
Oh, he goes himself.
And Southport North just taking their time to get organised, play heads-up rugby. Think about what the best way to exploit this Nudgee defence. Because it's going to take some exploiting. They're playing very well on the defensive side of the ball. Nongor rumbling ahead. Siegs through the middle of the breakdown. The two front rowers, loose and tight.
Southport, their phase play must be very high, Nick, going into the 20s. That's a massive step there from the captain down.
Over the 5 metre line, that goes. Siegs now to Nongor, feeding it short.
They're getting very close, Nick.
On a wild clean-out attempt in back play. That might be Siegs. Gee, he's been busy. Nongor's gone in for a second try. And Southport will lead 12-8.
And the big thing with that one was, Nick, it turned into a match of attrition. And Nudgee were giving it pound for pound in defence. But when you get someone who's been Zane Nongor from a metre out, picking and driving around a tired breakdown defence, he's always going to get there.
Getting great bang from their buck for the Southport forwards, especially from front rowers, Nongor and Siegs. Well, it's not the start we would have expected from the Southport school, with so much strike power out wide to keep it in tight, just like we see here, Zane Nongor.
And you can see it looked like Spencer Jeans. He was ready to go somewhere. The Nongor just took it upon himself and went straight over. Right option, I feel. We could see that Nudgee defence, it was starting to disperse a bit. There were a lot of bodies on the ground, so the numbers were there.
Parata now lining up his kick 15 metres out from touch, 22 out from the goal line.
I have to say, Nick, with 25 and a half minutes of play down, it's gone by quite quickly, and there hasn't been too much in the way of stoppage because we're seeing quite high phase play count for both sides in attack and defence, so they must be getting pretty tired out there.
Oh, dear. Someone's got to do it.
He's liking that left side today, Nick.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. So a narrow 4-point lead for the Southport school. Well, Marty, let me just go back through the history books for one quick second. We got since 2011, every game has been won by a margin of 10 points or less. And since 2014, they've been won by 7 points or less.
It's definitely getting closer, Nick, and I think that really highlights how the school rugby system is starting to even out across all of the different schools. Yeah, there are guys that are a clear cut above, but I feel the margin is definitely decreasing. It's showing that the competition as a whole, very healthy.
Kopua has lost his headgear. It doesn't stop him from driving his way through the line.
Take him back!
Nudgee putting the breakdown under a bit of pressure, but that left boot will clear. It won't find touch. And Jungler Bennett will feed it back inside.
He's very lucky that didn't find touch, Nick. They passed it back into the 22. That could have been a game-changing kick right there.
Southport playing a bit of force and backs as Cohen W, the torp. And not a bad torp either. Had a bit of an AFL background growing up, he tells me. Bennett composing himself. And a tidy kick from himself.
And that is some very level-headedness that we see from these players, and there's good rugby all around.
Southport wanting to take that line out quickly. A bobble will deny them their chance. Just 8 minutes to play, and Siggs bursts down that right side, fending him off Harry Vella with venom. And a ball inside now. Kale Manu going for Bullymore, a wild pass, a wobbly one. Pasatoa for Small. He'll sprint through the line and offload. To no one in particular.
And Nick, I think we saw it before up the front. Nongor was looking for that little cheeky offload. I think one of the big lessons we can take away from the last 30 minutes of play, that if they're making the breakthroughs, just hold on to the ball. The players are there in support.
Just 7 minutes to play, 6.5 minutes to play in this first half. Southport School leading St Joseph's Nudgee College 12 points to 8 in what is their 98th meeting. Lolosio kicking from hand over the top of Bennett. He's had to clear a lot, that young fullback. As Dovey, no doubt, takes it. And takes on the line as well. Small's there to wrap up his legs.
Great tackle there from Joe Small.
Seeking box kick and charge down. Nudgee held back and running. They'll appear for a bit. It looks like it might have escaped the notice of Jordan Way, the referee.
Spencer Jean's very lucky there. That could have been disastrous for Southport.
And so, yes, now we're seeing the influence of fatigue on the match. So close now to halftime.
5.5 minutes, Nick. Southport have just got to hold on, and a try would be a bonus.
Gerard picking and driving through. For Parata Lolosio now. Offloading for Kopua. Minus that headgear. Now, it's not the tempo we might have expected from Southport, Marty. They're really being composed and patient in attack, aren't they?
I think they're just respecting their adversaries, because we're seeing players like this who are just having absolute blinders on the paddock. Jungler Bennett, he has definitely been leading the game from the back of the pack.
Well, trying to chip and chase there over Lockie Vines. No way through there.
And we can see, though, his attacking play down the far side. He knew how hungry Southport were going to be, and look, it's going to be a Nudgee line out, and they're back inside that Southport territory again.
No, it yielded good results. As Bell, he's enjoyed throwing to Bailey Tautau at the back. Shostakowski goes up.
And that was good play there.
As Hunt, Pasatoa now, Small. He's playing it short for big Francis Sulisiausi. As now Fluke, short ball for Bullymore. A handful on that left wing. Takes 3 defenders down with him.
Nudgee, 23 out from the Southwood line.
Manu stepping inside and throwing off Reno Gerard. And a bit of a wonky pass as Pasatoa chips and chases. And this could be anyone's ball. Nudgee swarm the ball carrier. Southport pile of numbers into the breakdown, defend their possession. They'll go to clear. Dowd. And the Southport school very impressed with the take from the ball boy there.
Now this is just great forward pressure from Nudgee, Nick. They've kept Southport ahead of their 40-metre line for the last 5 minutes. They've been attacking, and I think they want to try to close this half out by getting ahead.
Shostakowski doing enough to win it back for Phoenix Hunt. They go inside, Nudgee with runners in midfield. Fluke now, dummies and goes himself. Accelerating through the gap, can't link up with Bullymore and is outside. Nudgee continue to attack to the right, Small, inside for Pasatoa. He's got speed, he's going to burst away from the pack to run in a try, a key try before half-time.
Absolutely great stuff. Now that's almost carbon copy of the try they last scored, Nick. Nudgee, they wait for their opportunity to get close and they work it out wide, and we're going to see it in the replay momentarily. They work it out wide, find the space and put the man through. And Nudgee, they're up now, and we see here in the replay, Nick, Phoenix Hunt, they get it out. They know the importance of swinging this wide, and it was great vision from Rashan Pasatoa linking up and around. And we see him doing so well here, coming in on the inside, finds the ball, finds the space, and that's 5 points. And he went that extra yard right now. A lot of players would have just said, let's get over the line and find the 5, but he knew the importance of making sure I'm going to get it as close as I can to the middle, also because it means it makes his job a little easier.
I was going to say that. I think it was a very selfish play for him. Not in the bad way, but selfish to make his kick just that little bit easier. I really want to give great credit to... Oh, great shot here. What a family venue that Southport School has been. Just thousands of people milling around, taking in some great schoolboy rugby. But I want to give a big prop to inside centre Joe Small, converted from the open side flanker position where he played for the Queensland Schoolboys this year and has made an absolute killing of it in the inside centre jersey. Just a bit of vision there to look outside, to engage the defence, the outside men, and to pop that ball inside for Rashan Pasatoa. A clean pair of heels takes him away, and Nudgee College lead 15 points to 12 with half-time just a minute and a half away.
So this isn't probably the ideal start that Southport wanted, Nick. They wanted to probably go into the half. They wanted to be ahead here. But Nudgee, they've really controlled the game for the last probably 10 or 15 minutes. And that was a great attempt, and it looks like Southport are going to come away with it.
Taylor wins it back for Nongor. The big fella. 136 kilograms. He is a monster in the truest sense of the word.
And that was a phenomenal strip from Nudgee.
Bennett taking Nudgee out of danger.
The boot on that, number 15 for Nudgee. Jungler Bennett, that is just sensational kicking from him all day.
And with a very narrow angle to work with as well. As Siggs now, he'll throw into a line-out that gives Southport the final say of the half, we have to think. Southport takes down, Vanderscape wins it. Paratar, short ball for McNamee. He'll take on the tackle of Kale Manu. To the left now, dropping it inside for Ronan Karpi. He started this year on the wing, transitioned into the centres, and then couldn't be taken out of that position.
Southport, they're working their way up here, Nick, and we can see the knock on though. Nudgee, they're going to hold on till the end of the half, and it's a great comeback that they've had.
Well, with time maybe for just one final play.
10 seconds will be last play.
10 seconds out, double take live, clock is spot on. And so we'll see what Nudgee can do with this.
To be honest, Nick, I think we're going to get down. I think Phoenix Hunt is just going to kick for that line, and he's going to call it half time because they're going to want to get into the break as soon as they can.
Gee, I don't know, Marty, with the sort of side-stepping ability of Jungler Bennett in that back line, I think Nudgee might chance their arm here. And if it all breaks down, I don't doubt he can kick it for touch. Taking a few minutes now to steady the scrum.
Big nudge from Southport.
Driving straight through the heart of that Nudgee scrum. And they'll win it back. Bennett, left boot, Marty.
Called it.
Props to you.
And you see, that's a real shame. Obviously, they're limited by the rules of the competition there, but any other competition, that size of a nudge from Southport would pay dividends. But Nudgee knew as long as they had it at the back of the 8's feet, they were fine, and they're going to go into this halftime break in the lead.
Well, that's right, Marty. 15 points to 12, the halftime lead here on the Gold Coast. The Southport school just in head. And I guess we'll have a look at the stats from the first half coming up very shortly. What are your main takeaways from the first half of first 15 football here on the Gold Coast?
My main thing from both these sides is it's been a game of attrition. I think Nudgee have shown a lot of patience, and they have definitely cut down on those errors that we saw last week, and we can already see it in the numbers. Both teams are mirrored out there. Yeah, there's been a few tackle missed by Nudgee, but all in all, Nudgee have done very well this game, and as you can see from the territory and possession, when they've gotten the ball, they've made the most of it, and they've really kept Southport down their end of the field.
No, you're right. You can barely split these teams through every category except for maybe tackles made, where Nudgee really have had to deal with an onslaught of Southport forward runners.
Absolutely, and you know, when you have a volume of tackles that hard, and you can see at the possession 52-48, so they've been pressing Southport school for so long. But the interesting thing is that when Southport have gotten within 10 metres of that Nudgee line, they're getting over, and it's the same with Nudgee. So a lot of this game's been played between the 22s, and I think the tactical kicking from players like Jungler Bennett and Max Dowd have really shaped how this game has been played out.
And so if you were Mike Wallace or Jared Alexander, the two coaches of the two first 15s, what would you be saying to your boys at halftime, Marty?
Well, the big thing is, I think for the Nudgee side of things, they're going to go into it. I can't fault too much that they've done there. I think they need to make sure that they're cutting out a lot of those little offload passes. Think of it, both teams need to be talking about holding on to the ball. You make a break, be in the support role. Don't be looking to try and catch a 1%er offload. It's not going to happen. Nudgee have got to try and get up close again. They've got to keep working it out wide because that's worked for them twice already. And for the Southport school, they've just got to, I think, knuckle down. They've got to concentrate on what they're doing, and they've got to play the territory and just get themselves down to the Nudgee end of the field to give themselves an opportunity to score.
And I guess the key question, Marty, do you see this game opening up in the second half?
Well, I can see that if it's going to be at the same pace that they played the first half, I think we're going to see players start to get a little bit tired. So I think we're going to see a bit of a different game as the second half goes on, because if people are going to start getting tired, it's going to be anyone's game. We know both of these teams have got big faults, and they've also got big positives. So it's going to be about who can stick to their gameplay the longest. And it's like I said, the first half, this game's been all about attrition. That's why there's only 3 points separating them after 35 minutes.
What a great analytical mind you have there, Marty. We're going to take our halftime break. Rejoin us shortly for the second half of Nudgee College versus Southport School in a grand final almost for round 8 of the Queensland GPS First Team Rugby competition. We'll see you shortly. Welcome back to the Southport School Round 8 of the Queensland GPS First 15 Rugby Competition, the Premiership Decider, where Nudgee College, visiting the Southport School, are ahead 15 points to 12 as we enter the second half. Southport School to restart.
Absolutely, Nick. So I reckon there are lots of big chats there at the half-time. And Southport, they're going to have to try and break Nudgee's momentum here, because Nudgee, for the last probably 15, 20 minutes of that first half, they were really in control of the game, and they're taking their time to get out there.
Two tries to Zane Nongor from the Southport School, the big tight head prop, getting the Southport School up to 12 points, where tries to Rashan Pasitoa and Ryan Shepherd, and a penalty goal to Rashan Pasitoa, doing the damage for Nudgee College. So we get close to restarting.
Yeah, I have to say, Nick, that first missed penalty attempt from about 60 out would have leveled things out for them. It's Puritar here for the restart. Second half underway.
Shostakowski takes the ball and takes the tackle early. Never fun receiving those kickoffs. Lining up to get smashed.
I've taken too many of them, Nick. You just got to look up and go to somewhere nice.
As Pasitoa smashes the ball into the Southport half. Max Dodd looks up for a counter-attack.
Oh, he got picked up and put down. And Nudgee here, they've done very well to retake it, Nick.
Jarrett Sablu there. He found the ball in his hands. Oh, and a wild pass from Nudgee straight into touch. With penalty advantage, they'll come back.
Well, that's the thing. Nudgee, they've come out swinging here in the second half. They shut down Southport out wide. They forced the knock on, and now they've got a scrum inside the Southport half in the first minute.
15 missed tackles through that first half, but gee, you couldn't fault either of these sides' defence. They've just been exceptional, except for sort of one or two occasions throughout the entire half. And we'll see if Southport can continue their first half scrum dominance. Egan Siggs, this loose head prop, in my opinion, the best scrummaging prop in Queensland this year. Can't disrupt it there.
For schoolboys.
For schoolboys.
For schoolboys.
Oh! There might be trouble there.
I think Noah Lilicio, he saw it happening, unfolding, and I think Jordan Way understood that he did try and stop and slow that down as it was unfolding, but the fact that it went that far was enough to merit the yellow. And the horizontal landing didn't approach the shoulder, neck or head. That's why it was not a red card. But yeah, an early that's really lapse of concentration. That's going to hurt the Southport School's efforts now. They're a man down, and they're a good man down. That in the back row, he's been in the back line. Noah Lilicio has been very, very important to them. So it means Southport, they're going to have to lift here, otherwise Nudgee are going to come calling. One of two Australian schoolboys, full Australian schoolboys, not Australian schoolboy Bs in this Southport School team. So a key out for the next 10 minutes. Shostakowski at the back. He's been very reliable. Or Mosley, I beg your pardon. Well, Nudgee, good opportunity here. And now it's Shostakowski. Driven into the dirt. Tautau. Nudgee trying their hand at picking and driving to find points. I think we're going to get great front row seats to this here. Manu edging closer and closer. Nudgee College trying to put another 5 points between the two sides. Making hay of that yellow card advantage. Tautau. He'll go very close. On a loose ball, Bullymore bumps side of one. He goes down. He's going to score Nudgee's third try. Ethan Bullymore. And this is really big, Nick. The player's only been off for about 70 seconds. They've already gone across for another try here. They've extended the lead 20 points to 12. It's going to be another big 8 minutes coming up. And if they can keep capitalising, Southport are going to have a lot of catching up to do.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a green purse handed in. It is down the 50-metre line. It is run line. Belonging to Miss Alexander.
We see the replay here.
You got it?
Bullymore bumping out of the tackle of Hugh McNamee, and from that distance cannot be stopped.
So Nudgee have got really good momentum here, Nick. They've obviously got some pretty stiff competition coming from this Southport crowd. So Pirata is going to try and find 2 more for the school.
And nearly a charge down. Pastor has to go high. And going high gets the job done. Nudgee College ahead by 10 points. With the Southport School's inside centre, Noel Alessio, in the bin for at least another 7 minutes.
Well, and that's time off there by J-Way. Jordan Wade is calling time off. Looks like there's a Southport player down in back play. It looks like it's Egan Siggs. Now, I don't want to add insult to injury here, Nick, but Egan Siggs out of that front row. And Noel Alessio in the bin for another 7-8 minutes. That's losing 2 important pieces. Siggs is up, and he's moving around, so that's good.
He's a tough kid, Ian Siggs, out from Dolby Way. Boarding at Southport School last 2 years. He's been a very impressive player in this first 15. He would be a huge loss if he was to go down injured. And Southport with time back underway. Oh, taking the air. This might be another yellow card.
I don't think it will be, Nick, because the player knocked on in the air, and then the contact was made after he knocked the ball on. I don't think there was anything foul there.
Nothing foul. All in fair competition, we think. Regardless, a let-off for Southport. Well,
it's a big drive for Nudgee back to Northside Brisbane, Nick, if they don't get the win today.
Well, if they get the win today, they'll be driving back with the premiership, with one hand on the premiership already. And it'll all come down to round 9's fixture with State High to decide whether that's 2 hands or just the one. But if you're Nudgee College at this point, you're feeling very, very good about your chances. 10 points ahead.
Still about 30 minutes left.
As Reno Gerard can't escape from Kalamanu. He'll play the ball back. Jeans for Parata, driving straight to the line. Ronan Karpi slips out of 1. And that's the great thing about Nudgee's defence, Marty. Every time they miss a tackle, there's another player right there to put the second shot on. Siggs through the middle.
You see, that was
Hayden Mosley, we think.
Big penalty against Siggs there. Siggs was down the ground. You could see him. He just didn't want to relinquish it. I think the pressure's getting to Southport a little bit. They've just got to try and get a bit of clairvoyance and try and move forward in this and try and close that 10-point gap.
Hayden Mosley does leak a few penalties per game, but gee, he's good over the ball when he gets on. One of the absolute premier open side flankers of the GPS this year. Southport just calling for their supporters to get loud. As Siggs retreats into the back line. Brandon Bell. Bailey Tautau going up in the top. He can't win it back. As Gerard now, 114 kilos, chooses to pass. And a knock on from Cohen Dobie.
This is the crack starting to show in this Southport attack, Nick. This isn't the first time we've seen Nudgee have been applying steady pressure for the last 7 minutes, and it's paying off in a big way.
And what a way for Nudgee College to silence this boisterous Southport School crowd. Then converting this attacking opportunity into points. 4 handling errors to 2 in favour of Nudgee College. They're ahead in that stat. As we see now, Southport with Nudgee with the full backline at their disposal, up against the man short Southport School.
There's another great Southport nudge.
And just what the doctor ordered, a scrum turnover, just denying Nudgee the chance to exert the advantage in the backline. And a great run here from the knock-on artist, Cohen Dobie. Dobie running well over 60 metres. And now there's space out wide. Gerard. Southport continuing to probe to the left. Short ball now. Spinning out of the tackle is Tom Taylor. Putting on his little Madden juke move. Van der Scaife. He's one of the best locks in GPS rugby this year. Dowd inside for Nongor.
Oh, the big boy.
Leave now, 7.
And just starting to increase their tempo that little bit as Dowd takes on the line, steps inside 1. Can't escape. Vella. McNamee picking and driving, supported by Vine.
Great meters there gained.
Parada inside ball. Scaife. Tackled well by Mosley. Jeans now. Cops a big shot from his front rows. Just trying to help. As McNamee.
This is a flavour of attack we haven't seen from Southport for about the last quarter of this game. So it's good to see them start switching on. They're playing the attacking brand of rugby. But Nudgee lifting in the defence.
Tackle. No, 7. 7, no.
Mosley told to release. As Southport now looking for some space on the fringes. As Carpy steps inside and outside and offloads. Dowd now. Slipping out of 1 and Vine. He arrives in support, but Dowd goes down with it. Jeans to Parata, short for Nongor. Pops another ball on for McNamee. Hailing from Merriman in Western Queensland. He played for the Dolly Wheatman with Egan Siggs just a few years ago. Gerard accelerates into contact and is taken very well.
Leave now, 7. Play it.
By Sula Siausi. Dowd inside ball.
Oh,
Vine,
that's a great covering.
thumped by Kale Manu. Dropping the hammer on his opposite.
Stay.
Carpy dumbing. Taking on the line himself. Southport building the faces but going nowhere. And now Parata chipping a little grubber kick in behind. And a penetrating kick. He would love for it to stay in though.
Well, great battle there from both sides. Obviously, Southport the spear and Nudgee the shield. And it was turning, that game of attrition was really starting to switch on, and we were waiting to see what was going to fail first. And a bit of creative thinking there from Southport. We'll put the pressure back on Nudgee. I think they can hope to have maybe a line out of their own within 30 metres.
Or even a steal here. Bailey Touts out the back, being a very popular target today. But Mosley goes up. And it's overthrown, but Nudgee will retain possession. Harry Bell at the back, offloading for Ethan Bullymore. Can he go on another long run? He scored a buckload of tries from about this distance this year. And a raking kick in behind, splits the fullback and wing from Southport.
Wasn't the prettiest kick, but it got the job done.
As Dowd looks up, scans, and runs it. Met there by an uncompromising Nudgee defence. Southport slow to retreat back on side. As Parata for Nongor, hands, great hands. Looking for Lachlan Vine. And taken by Ryan Shepherd. Of course, tackle just slipping high, and Jordan Way penalises accordingly.
Yeah, Mosley, he's not happy about that one. This is a really good opportunity here for Southport. They can kick for the line, get themselves within striking distance, because that yellow card's going to be finishing up any moment.
Not much of an angle.
I think Jordan Way reminding Campbell Parata is not much of an angle.
Okay.
Friendly advice.
Should be now. Yeah, he's on there. He's on. Come on.
As Egan Siggs, he'll throw in.
Great line out by
Van der Scaife
Southport.
at the top. Reliable option.
Oh, bumps him.
A thumping hit.
Woo!
Gerard on Bullymore. Bronco on Titan. Or vice versa, sorry. As Noel Lesio making his immediate presence felt. His return felt, sorry. Parata, short for McNamee. And Bullymore making up for missed tackles.
And see, that's not good from Nudgee College. They've really dropped the ball in a bad spot there, giving away that penalty within striking distance. That's the second penalty they've given away within 40 metres. They're really inviting Southport in and to find a potential 5, if not 7 points.
Nudgee College in the famous butcher stripes, blue and white with red numbers. The Southport school in their red and blue and white. And now we see a very promising attacking position for Southport. A full line out. And now finally a full back line to go with it.
Driving maul, the seams, Nick.
Taking the ground quickly. Siggs. Caught in a bad position, but able to get it back safely. There's Corpua. Jeans goes digging and fires wide. Short ball now. Alessio thumped Josh Fluke. He's just 15 years old, but he's put on a great shot there.
And that's a real shame. Nick, Southport was showing a lot of promise working in and around the forwards. And the moment they went out, they wanted to test that Nudgee defence in the back line, and I think they got not the response they wanted.
And every turnover now just ramps up the pressure on Southport because they're running out of opportunities to score points. They can't afford to keep giving away possession.
Well, there's about 20 minutes left on the clock here, and very fast rugby's been played for these 50 minutes of the game. So on the way, we're starting to see a few more of those little cracks appear, not only in Nudgee but in Southport's too. And we talked about it going into the half and coming out of the half. It's going to come down to who can just hold on that little bit longer, I feel.
Southport now with an opportunity to win possession back with that big scrum of theirs.
Blending in here. Let's keep out over our feet. Keep.
Jordan Way, of course, scrummaging on an under-19 laws today. The primary focus is on keeping the kids safe.
Crouch. Bind. Six. Hold.
You see, great shove from Southport School. They'll win this back. And a full-arm penalty to go with it.
And that was purely the weight of that scrum from Southport dominating Nudgee. And great opportunity here.
Quickly taken. Max Dowd dives for the line. He's going to score. Great quick thinking from Spencer Jeans. Flinging the ball out to his captain, Max Dowd, going in to score on that right wing. With the flashy footwork to go with it.
Well, it was massive there from the Southport school. They really stepped down on the accelerator when they, at the precise moment, and then the option to take that quick tap against the shell-shock Nudgee, it was always going to go in their favour. Just perfect execution of what needed to be done.
Great decision made as Spencer Jeans goes outside for Max Dowd, skips in. And that's try time for the Southport school, who close the margin to 5 points with a kick still to come. And Marty, you have to think this match has lived up to its grand final billing.
Absolutely, and the thing is they've had 7 rounds of rugby to get their formulas down pat, to figure out what they need to do to convert it into wins. And it's not a far thought thing. Both these teams are fully aware of what the other is capable of, and it's quite a tactical game they're playing out there at the moment. And I think this one's going to come right down to the line.
This was the full-time score of Nudgee's last win over the Southport last year. And off the post, it looks like. Paratar's missed his third kick of the match.
Well, he's put 2 left of the left post, so he just slammed one right into it.
Channeling a bit of Bernard Foley, maybe.
Well, the big one is there. If you add up the 3 that he's missed, plus the penalty, that's 9 points that have gone wandering off the boot today for Southport. So that's a really gnarly statistic when you look at it that way.
Very appropriate verb for Southport, I think. Gnarly. Surf culture's good. No Alessio bounces out of one.
Well, if it was 10, I'd say they'd be hanging 10 points behind.
Southport now clearing, finding grass on the right wing of Nudgee College. As Pasatoa is scrambling back to try and regather. Nearly drops it. Going into midfield where Jungle Bennett's got a bit of angle to work with. Jordan Way being impressed.
I think it's a bit of the different. I think Jordan Way would be unimpressed because he had so much of an angle, he had so much to work with. I think he was just kind of complimenting, saying, well, mate, you don't have much to work with here. I'll see what you can do. And, it eventually turned into the goods for them.
Quickly taken Tom Taylor at the top there for Spencer Jeans. For Parata, looking inside, fending off one and offloading for Reno Gerard, the big fella, 114 kilograms. Jeans. Parata for Alessio, wide cutout for Six, who find Kopua. Bursting down at left wing as Dan Burns putting on a move on Jungler Bennett, escaping him. And the two front rowers, they're hustling to get there. Egan Six take a pick and drive. Hayden Mosley getting down and dirty in that ruck. But Southport will retain possession.
Oh, that's a good nudge there from Nudgee.
And there's the turnover. Shostakovsky bumps Nonga out of the way. Oh, Spencer Jeans will come up with it. And it looks like a maul turnover. Not so sure about that.
It was a really hard call there for Jordan Wade, but Nudgee, they put on the right amount of pressure at the right time, and the ball was trapped in there. He would have given it the call.
The unplayable ruck making a lot more sense.
Let's go.
And, you know, we've still got about another 16 minutes of game time left. So, you know, this is the excitement. This is what you want for this game at this point of the season between the top two teams.
Southport supporters organising themselves for a big cheer.
Mate, they're going to try push it over again and get that ball back. And there they go.
That big shove, but Southport will Nudgee win it back. Small takes a crash ball through the defence.
One last feet, one step, takes it.
Pasatoa is dropped back in the pocket. And he's going to clear. And outside the 22, but not by as much as he would have liked.
Well, the big thing here, Southport have got another bite of this cherry dick. They're about 30 metres out from the Nudgee line. They've got to keep them up. They've got to keep themselves up this end of the field until they can get over them.
Sorry. Yeah. Close the gap.
Of course, if Southport win this game, they'll draw level with Nudgee at one loss apiece going into the final round. As Jeans now inside for Burns. Going to the right. Alessio putting on his own brand of footwork and accelerating through the middle of the field.
He got monstered in front of that 22.
As Jeans for Parata. Footwork from Ronan Karpi, and he'll lose it. Nudgee get out of jail again. As Jarrett Sablu bursting down the left wing and offloading. He'll find Joe Small and put another offload in. And Jungler Bennett, he can't hold on.
And you see, this is what we talked about all earlier in the game, Nick. It's about the ball possession. When games are this close, flashy passes are fantastic, but if you lose the ball 9 times out of 10, is it really worth it when there's only 5 points in the game?
It's a question Nudgee will be asking themselves after this one, especially if the Southport school can come back and erase that 10-point deficit from half-time. Of course, the stakes could not be higher. Nudgee spurred on by their crowd.
There's another good push from Southport.
As Parata going to the skies. Chased well by Dowd and Lolosio and Vine as well. Back off Dowd, and it's a loose ball. Burns breaking down the left wing. He escapes Josh Fluke, and he'll regather his feet.
Smart play there by Burns.
Just cutting inside, finding his support. And now Nudgee College through Max Dowd. Jeans. Parata now probing through the middle. Looking for Van der Skaef and finding him. Lolosio bouncing out of one and offloading for Karpi. He's a powerful runner, Karpi. He doesn't go down without a fight. Beg your pardon, Korpua. Nongol now going for his third try. Rumbling ever closer. Southport will attack through the backs now. Loose pass for Lolosio. He'll split the defence and offload. Cohen Dobie nearly held up, and he'll go in to score. Nudgee College ahead 27. Or Southport School, I apologise. Draw level at 22 all.
And that's absolutely massive, Nick. Southport stayed vigilant. They kept their eyes on the prize. and they finally started tidying up a lot of those little mistakes they were making. It's turned into for a try for them. And I don't know what it's been about that corner today, but it's been the most popular one, I think. I think it's about 3 or 4 tries into it. So we see here on the replay, Southport did well. They kept the attack rolling through, and then they went out wide. Jeans did well, sends it out through the hands. Very good silky hands from Lilicio, then to find Dovey out on the wing, and it was the rest is history.
Well, it's the risk and reward of throwing those offloads in contact, Marty. On this occasion, coming up big for the Southport school, drawing level with a chance to advance.
11 minutes left on the clock.
And what a huge 11 minutes these will be. Parata's strike goes high. And Nudgee like it, which means he's missed.
This has not been his day on the boot today, Nick.
And so the scores are tied 22-22 with 11 minutes to play. And if this isn't sort of the drama and atmosphere you crave in GPS rugby, I don't know what is. This has been amazing. As both schools on both sides of the field chanting to support their team. Van der Skaef goes up and comes down with it. Parata now clearing. A booming kick. An exceptional kick.
That is
22-22.
That is a lot of kick from a not very big person. That is sensational. And Nudgee, they're barely reeling from what just happened a few minutes ago where they got across the line. Now they're having to play defence again to this attacking Southport side.
Well, he's bigger than you might expect, Mark. He's actually 185 centimetres, the same height as Ryan Shepherd from Nudgee. So long levers going to work there. Going up, Southport. They won't get it back. They went close. Bullymore stepping inside one. Brandon Bell trying to clean out the much bigger Zane Nongor. But it's a Southport turnover inside the 22-metre line.
Nudgee are scrambling.
And now Southport's crowd. The Sharks can smell blood in the water. Inside ball. Taken well by Nudgee. Mosley's getting dirty in there as well. They can almost smell it. Jeans pulls it out and fires. Inside ball for Dowd. Stepping off that right foot again. He's going to go so close. And taken down in the last gasp tackle. And a forward pass looks like it might have been a knock on.
I think Dowd was just going a little bit too quick there for his own good, and they've lost the ball there in the breakdown, but it's not necessarily, you know, that's not the end game for that phase. They're going to attack on this scrum, Nick. They're going to force Nudgee to be kicking for the line again, so Southport have got this one by the reins at the moment, and they're just really pulling back hard on them.
Well, it's blue skies ahead up top, but can Nudgee weather this Southport storm? We'll find out the next 9 minutes whether Nudgee will take their hand on the GPS trophy. Huge scrum again from Southport. We say it so often, but it's just been spectacular. Ryan Shepherd zooming down that left wing. Taken by Spencer Jeans. Nudgee driving their way to the 22-metre line. Pasto, a low pass. It's hard work to regather that. He does so and puts up a pretty respectable kick.
And, you know, that's the big thing today. Nudgee, their kicks for exit, they've been under incredible pressure, but they've, Pasitoa, Jonathan Bennett, they've both had good touches off the boot that have really saved Nudgee on numerous occasions today.
Van der Skaef, reliable as ever. Looking for the offload, he'll get it in. Burns, he's got some speed, and chopped.
Absolutely chopped.
Nudgee say boom. As Korpua ranging down that left wing. There's Dowd now, dummying and straightening. And he's dropped as well. And the support arrives in a big way for Southport. Carpi dancing. As McNamee, he'll regather a dropped ball.
All intentional.
As Dowd looking for space out wide as Alessio straightens.
We're all tied up at home. If you think the Southport School are going to get up once we hit full time, love hearts. If you think Nudgee are going to come away with the win,
Gerard, bang! Southport haven't won a premiership since 2020. This might be their best chance yet. On the attack as Zane Nongor threatens the offload, but he'll go down with it. As Nudgee's forwards, they'll do their best to turn this over. It's safe for Southport. 6 minutes to go with the premiership on offer.
Oh!
Another rampaging hit. Ethan Bollymore stopping the Southport runner in his tracks. Lalesio inside for Van der Scaife. And the integrity of this Nudgee line is faultless. Southport going side to side, but now Egan Siggs on the burst. Stepping out of one, can he offload at the back?
Oh!
Lockie Vine! Taken just short, Southport streaming down. Looking up, Nongor, can he get three? He goes for it. Nudgee say no. The stuff that champions are made of. Spencer Jeans spills it in the act of scoring.
5 minutes to go, and it's all tied up, and you can see all 30 players on that field are absolutely exhausted.
This Southport School front row, 354 kilos, not a single substitutions. They will be burning after 65 minutes of up-tempo rugby.
I think even Jordan Wace having a little bit of a break. Someone's down on the ground getting some treatment at the moment for the Southport School.
And Southport's fans screaming, rallying their troops. They know what this means.
It's really close because the ultimate thing is Southport, they need to win today. If they don't win today, then that's it. Their opportunity to win the premiership this year, it's off the books. You know, and rightly so. If Nudgee win today, they've essentially won out their season, which is massive. So it's all on the line here. Southport, it's pretty much a qualifying final for Southport, and it's a grand final for Nudgee.
Of course, round 9 matches with Southport School up against Churchy and for Nudgee up against State High, both on the bottom of the table. You'd have to think automatic wins.
Statistically, they should win, but look what Grammer did to Terrace last week. This competition proves that numbers aren't enough to dictate how these games are going to play out.
So both teams need this win. And we're going to get back underway. Southport will Nudgee defeat a scrum, Southport to attack it.
Southport's track record's good. Nudgee are just trying to get that ball out of their scrum as fast as they can because they know how dangerous it is to loiter.
Well, Nudgee have won their last 3 encounters on this ground, but they're under the pump right now. Just over 4 minutes to play.
Still a lot of time left in this game, especially when it's 22 points all. And it's going to start with this scrum.
And especially with both teams camped inside the Nudgee 22. And it's a turnover. Reno Gerard, he's big. Can he get there? Held up by Nudgee. That'll be another scrum to Southport.
And the scary thing about that was Spencer Jeans was running around the outside of Gerard, and he had that option. So Southport, this is a very, very good position for them to be in.
And what courageous defence from the Nudgee College flankers.
Oh, it wasn't just the flankers. We had Ethan Pullamore, we had Hayden Mosley, Bailey Tautau and Phoenix Hunt, all 4 players getting around to stop him getting over that line. And it's going to be that kind of defence that will keep them in the fight.
As Nudgee, the substitute at halfback. Is a pushover try on the cards here, Marty. Gerard goes again.
Oh, Gerard, he's strong.
Taken by Nudgee.
Last feet 6.
Nudgee drifting offside, trying to stop this. Nongor going for his hat-trick. Going very close.
Stay on the line.
Nudgee right now with their premiership on the line.
That's a
And
try.
Southport has scored.
I believe it was Gerard. Reno Gerard went over, picking and driving. He's been there all game wanting it, and he finally found it when it mattered most.
It might have been Kopua,
Yeah, I think it was Corpora.
the hooker. So the Southport School front row, 3 tries on the day, and they've just worked their way ahead with 2 minutes to play. And with a huge conversion still to come.
I think Campbell Purata is going to take every second that he's got for this.
And it's another wide kick. And so 5 points of difference with 1.5 minutes remaining. That's right, just 90 seconds before we'll know who takes the 2017 premiership.
Well, Southport get up, Nick. It's still a 2-horse race. If Nudgee get up, that's their season locked up.
And a short kick off Nudgee.
Oh.
And straight through the middle, the substitute on the burst. Southport now flying into breakdown.
They've just got to be patient here. Hold on to the ball. No errors.
As Cohen Dovey bursts down that right wing. 100 minutes to go. Dovey's going to get there. Popping inside. Van der Scape.
And that's game.
Game, set, match. Van der Scape kicks off the biggest party at Southport this year, and that's saying something.
Such great vision there from Southport. Nudgee was so concerned about getting that ball off the restart. They put all their eggs into that basket, and that's the only basket that they had. Southport stayed vigilant. They worked it down that far side, and they converted it into points. And just such great vision from them all.
Cohen Dovey going around this outside, bursting by Bailey Tautau, and popping that trailing pass in for Van der Scape. The support play from that lock was unbelievable.
Tom Van der Scape, he's one of the biggest blokes on that paddock, and he's managed to go tit for tat with one of the faster wingers out there, so hat's got to go off to the second row.
And so Paraton now to put this game well and truly to bed. It'll be full time once this kick goes out.
And he gets the last one.
34-22 will be the final score as the Southport School draw level with Nudgee College on the premiership leaderboard. And I think, Marty, that means we're heading to a drawn premiership and potentially Southport's first since 2010.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but if we do have a drawn premiership next week, both teams on 14 points, the secondary points of difference, or is it matches won overall?
No, it's points differential is something Double Take Live have brought to the table in this year and last year's GPS competition. The official mark is 2 points for a win, and that's the sole judgment. It'll be a drawn premiership, provided both of these teams
can win next week
with a match for Nudgee College against Brisbane State High School and a match against Churchy for TSS.
And that's a really good result there, because the big thing is the Southport School had that loss earlier in the season. So if they had just not done that earlier in the season, they would have been crowned.
They'd lost to Ipswich Grammar School in round 3.
that and it'll haunt them a little bit, but they've come back and redemption was so sweet. They worked so hard today and they stayed hungry for it, and I think we saw a couple of little cracks in the Nudgee side open up. It wasn't through ill discipline, which they made a tremendous improvement on in the last week. But it was, I think, the Southport School, they were just hungry for it and they kept themselves in the chase.
Well, we might have a look at the stats coming up just in time. Nudgee College, what a defensive effort that was. 108 tackles to 45, but not enough for the late surge of the Southport School.
Yeah, and we look at that. The line breaks really say something about this game. The increase in line breaks compared to Nudgee, 7-3. It opened up the second half and brought the stats back to a 60-40 in the Southport School's favour for territory and possession. The Southport School, for about 75% of that second half, they kept themselves right up in the Nudgee, within the 40-metre line of Nudgee. They kept themselves in the right field position to find points, and they did.
Well, Nudgee entered the halftime break with 10 missed tackles. They finished on 23.
And I think that's some of the little cracks. It was the attrition. The boys were getting very tired. It's like you said earlier, there weren't many subs in that game for both sides. They didn't want to change their formula too much. But with that comes an inherent risk. You're going to have, people are going to get tired. You're going to miss tackles. And I think that's really where Southport started to run away with it, because they found those cracks and exploited them.
Well, I wonder if it would be possible to have one last look at the GPS rugby ladder before we sign off for today. Looking across the scores from other grounds, BBC is ahead of Churchie, 24 points to 15, with 15 seconds remaining in that game. So we'll chalk up a win there to BBC. So they'll move across to 10 points, leaving Nudgee College and the Southport School on 12 apiece.
And the interesting thing is, BBC next week, they have got... I can't remember who BBC have got.
No, not sure.
BBC, I believe, might have Churchie next week.
No, Southport School have Churchie next week.
But the thing is, if all else fails and both of these teams lose next week and BBC wins, then we have a three-way tie.
A three-way tie, and I'll tell you
it'll
what,
be 12 points apiece. So,
and BBC's last premiership was a four-way tie way back in 1954. So I think they'll want this even more than Southport, who themselves are in a 7-8 season premiership drought.
So obviously massive celebration here, because both teams, I think Nudgee will be disappointed they didn't get the win, but they're not out of this race yet. They can still get themselves a place on that cup for 2017. It's still there for them to be had.
Yeah, of course. I think the most likely outcome right now is a tied premiership. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was 2010 was a three-way tie between State High, Nudgee and Southport as well. So Southport cruising for a premiership, and well taken with a 34-22 win over Nudgee College now, as we go inside the Southport School war cry. And we might just keep quiet for a little bit to watch this Southport celebration. Well, the Southport School war cry, heard so many times by so many different teams, especially since that year 2000 mark, where Southport have only finished outside the top three once in 17 seasons, with 4 premierships to show for it, with 5 to show for it since 2000. I think we're going to have to say good afternoon. I've been Nick Darvaniza, joining me Marty Lippiett. Before we go, we'll have a quick squiz at round 9's fixtures. And there's a big one that stands out to me right there, Marty.
Yeah, it's going to be State High and Nudgee. That's going to be one of the biggest matchups of the week. State High, they've been a little bit hot and cold over the season, Nick. And the thing is,
but getting better and better through the season.
Yeah, they have been getting a lot better through the season. Obviously, last week, BBC only just got over them. So, State High next week, they could be the party poopers.
Well, they went down to Southport 53-29 in round 1, but gee, they improved since then, and they got better and better and better, so they might prove a real challenge for Nudgee College. Of course, I think back in 2015, Nudgee College were denied their premiership by a very good State High side that would go on to win the premiership themselves in 2016. We do have well, just run through the rest of the games quickly. Gregory Terrace versus BBC. A real mid-table decider there as BBC look to hold on to their top 3 finish. And Ipswich Grammar School versus Brisbane Grammar School. That should be a really nice contest as well over at Brazil.
Yeah, it's shaping up to be an absolute cracker.
And here are the highlights. Well, sorry to cut you off, Marty.
No,
Zane Nongor picking and driving to open Southport's account very early on in the first 5 minutes that was.
And we see it was a great start there for the Southport school, and they kept moving forward from that point in time, but it wasn't without Nudgee giving a good response. And we see here, Nudgee did respond quite well. This was the first of 2 or 3 tries they scored out wide. And you see Shepherd, we've seen him do this week in, week out, the good fending ability, sewing through defenders and gets himself a try in the corner.
Of course, Zane Nongor wouldn't be held out for much longer. He went in to close out the second half, or to get close to the second half, rather. Southport's second try to the big man.
And there we go, Nudgee again. This is almost a carbon copy of their first one. They worked out through the hands via Hunt and Pasitoa, and then it was the number 10 Pasitoa himself that came up with the goods as he ran the inside line here on the inside shoulder of Joe Small and got himself 5 points for his efforts.
And so at this point, I think that was the final score of the half. And so Nudgee came out in the second half with a try here to Ethan Bullymore, going ahead by, this might have been the 15-point lead. First try of the second half.
Yeah, that's when we saw Nudgee really open up. Then it was this spontaneous try. Captain Max Dowd opted for the quick tap after they had that dominant scrum, and he got himself over the line. And then that's when Southport School really started to press their advantage. They kept the foot to the throat, and they just kept pushing, and then they eventually came up with another fantastic try via Cohen Dovey on the wing.
Yeah, out the back of Noel Alessio. What a great try. And this one right here, we think to Tyrell Korpua, the hooker, getting down low and getting the biggies. And so this try puts Southport ahead by 5, but this try would seal the deal.
Yeah, and it was a big act of desperation. Nudgee, they needed some magic to happen for them. They needed to somehow get that ball back off the kick, and they needed to keep the phase play rolling. But the odds were stacked against them, and there's one of the best players on field for Southport. Tom Vanderscape had a great game, and getting gifted with that last try really is the cherry on top.
An appropriate award for it. It was a great day across the line out in defence, across a whole range of different things. I think we're going to have to wrap it up there. This will be my final week of commentary, guys, so I'm going to bid you farewell. Marty Lippy will be back next week.
Actually, I've got a wedding.
Well, we're going to work out who's actually going to call the game. There will be one to watch on Double Take Live, on Facebook, on YouTube, and on our website, www.doubletakelive.com/GPS Rugby. Until round 9, ladies and gentlemen, we bid you adieu from Double Take. Have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.